I was in a managerial job reporting directly to one of the owners of the company. It was a lot of responsibility. I was handling operations across 3 different cities, spending most of my time on the road. I was dedicated, but this man, the owner of the company, my boss, had massive trust issues. He micromanaged me to the point where he was calling my clients for silly things just to verify my locations. He would come into the office early to check my computer in my absence, and he constantly pushed unrealistic expectations on me that weren't in my job description. After a few months, I'd had enough. I told him, I can't work like this. This is ridiculous micromanaging, and you hired me as a manager. I told him I wanted to quit and suggested he find someone else. He started provoking me, challenging me, and asking me if I was a quitter. At the time, I was very competitive and easily challenged, so I stayed. But he knew I wouldn't stay for long, and since he didn't want to change, he tricked me into staying just so he could use those next few days to plan my exit on his terms. Before long, he blocked me from everything and told me I was fired. He didn't even let me take my stuff. I only got my personal things back a long time later after he had gone through every single item. I felt deeply humiliated and hurt because I knew I had been dedicated, but it was deeply unfair. A few years passed and I found myself at a very important conference with my teammates. I like to sit in the front row, even though those seats are usually for VIPs. I broke the rules a little bit because on the front row they had these small tables with the best quality of medjool dates, the very expensive types that you can't get from the regular stores. Really delicious. I couldn't help myself, so I sat there to eat those and continued staying there throughout the session. This event was under the patronage of a regional ruler I deeply admired for his personality and the good he was doing in the area. The room was huge and there were about 3,000 people in attendance, and there was a giant screen on stage like you get at concerts. The session had been going on for about 10 minutes when suddenly the screen stopped showing the event and switched to live footage of the ruler entering the room from back. Everyone in the room stood up, so I did too. Let me give you a little bit of background. I had a project I wanted to develop and I had tried to reach him many times, but it was impossible. Seeing him enter the room from the screen, I thought I wouldn't be able to approach him because he was coming with a huge entourage, maybe 20 people around him. So I hoped I at least could see him how he looked like in reality, so I waited for him to pass by me. I was in the front row on the right side and he was coming from the right, walking towards the center. As he walked in front of me, he wasn't very close to me, it was quite a little bit of distance. I looked at him from afar and he passed me. Then he suddenly turned around and walked right over to me. He put his hand and asked me how I was, and we exchanged a few words before he went to his seat. Because all the cameras and people were watching him closely, this interaction was broadcast on the big screen for those 3,000 people to see. And because he didn't stop for anyone else, the entire room assumed we were buddies. I was as shocked as everyone else. After that, everyone wanted to know who I was, and people kept coming to me throughout the day. It was a fabulous day for networking. I made great contacts at that event. That night at the gala dinner, I sat down at a big round table with maybe 12 people. When I looked around, guess who was sitting at my table? My former boss! He had seen the whole thing on the screen during that session because he was there. Throughout the dinner, he had to sit there and watch people approaching me while no one approached him. I bet he felt pretty sorry he had fired me. The moral of the story: karma always comes. No one has ever wronged me without it coming back to them. And sometimes, like in this event, I get front row seat to watch it happen. I was deeply humiliated by the way he fired me, but that turn of events put the scales back in balance and it felt good. But this works both ways. When I have wronged others, karma has shown up for me too. The world is small and somehow just. My ex-boss tried to control my exit to make me feel small, but he had to sit there and watch me get the attention and business opportunities he was there to seek. Don't wrong people intentionally, because we do it unintentionally enough as it is. But if you behave maliciously like he did, someone who could have just let me go when I wanted wanted to leave, but insisted on forcing me out on his own terms, the balance will be restored by karma. Don't worry about those who wronged you. Worry about and do your best not to wrong other people. As the Dalai Lama says, if you cannot help them, at least don't hurt them, because we all pay in the end. I feel this is a very just universe. Hi, I'm Ruxandra. See you tomorrow.